We're live, and we're live.
We're live.
That just
All
happened.
right.
Okay, so we'll just hang out here for a little bit and talk about butterflies and what have yous until maybe we get some people showing up. Okay, so we'll just hang out here for a little bit and talk about butterflies and what have.
All right, there we go.
Okay, yeah, I canceled out the secondary mic so I can hear what's actually going on now.
All right, good deal.
All right, Will, are you ready? Say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, Will, let's just start off real quick, before while we're waiting for everybody to get here. But let's just introduce, your company and what you guys do over there and everything like that.
Okay, all right. My company's TJW Exotics, and it's an amalgamation of three of our names. It's Teresa, my mom, John, my dad, and then me being Will. And we all have something we do, a part of the company. All have something we do in it. And me, I'm the snakes. I'm the snake guy. Dad's the rat guy. Then our mom's the mammal lady. She does all the mammals, and some snakes. They do some snakes too. They'll occasionally, they'll spend some money in snakes if they like the mutation or whatever it is. Like right now, they're on like a pied kick, so
Right.
they buy the pieds and I breed them and sell the offspring, and they get the money for it. Essentially, it's kind of
Okay.
how that. And aside from that, like rats, we do on a small scale. Rats are just generally, or just to supply my collection and maybe a few other people, you know. But I'm finding it hard because my dad's close to retirement. That if he can't do it no more, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I
Right.
can't
Yeah,
bring
because you have to take over everything.
I can't bring myself to go out there to clean them, man. I can do it for a week, and after that, it's like, wow, this sucks.
Right. Right.
They're high maintenance, man. I mean, that's why like I've stuck with snakes for most of my career is because so much more easy to maintain, compared to mammals and even some lizards and stuff too.
Right. Right.
So yeah, no, that's just general, just about our company.
Oh,
Oop, back on. Oop.
back
All
on.
right.
There we go. There we go.
Off for some.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've heard rats are a hell of an undertaking to take care of constantly and stuff like that. But
Unless you really like it, man. But like, man, I just don't. I ain't gonna lie. I just don't like them, man. As far as care wise, I just don't care for them.
right.
They're just a pain. Always pooping, always eating, and a lot of times killing each other too. That's another harsh reality of rodents. Is you'll get a litter of babies, and you mess with the babies, or something's wrong with them, she'll kill them all.
Right.
It's an art breeding rats, that's for sure. Takes lots of patience, lots of work, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll say patience for sure. It takes a lot of patience. You got to be patient and have very strong will to be able to go into that room, building, whatever it is, and deal with that pneumonia smell. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I guess that's kind of, we have like 22 people here. I guess we could kind of get moving forward. So you had worked with Ben Rennick in the past, and that's correct? Like you kind of helped him or?
Yeah. That was, like it was, I bought a few snakes from him. We talk. Then he invited me out to his building. So I went out to his building, and like I've told you guys before, I really got started out with a lot of watching Brian Barczyk's videos. So I was always just into the whole breeding aspect of it just interests me, and I always just enjoyed it. So to work with someone like Ben was just like, it was a no-brainer. I was going to try to do it, whatever it took. So, and I told him I just worked up there for free because it just, I just volunteered what was it, every Friday. I I'd even take vacation from my job just to go up there to work.
Right, right. Nice.
No, I enjoyed it. It was, I mean, it was a learning experience for sure. And you got to, you know, got a real good friend. And, you know, like I said, you learned a lot. A lot, especially from someone like Ben, because, you know, just such a good guy in the industry. And, you know, you know, like a lot of people, like it's like I was telling you guys too, it's like when you get into this industry, like really get into this industry, you really get to know how some people are. You know,
Yeah.
you really get to know the dark side of some people. And Ben was one of those guys you never heard any bad stories about. You never, you know, just nothing bad.
Right.
I mentioned like local guy for, you know, especially us in Missouri. We only had, you know, Ben was the only guy who did it for a living. And then there was one other guy, but, you know, that other guy was not so reputable, you know.
Right, right.
So, you
Yeah, and
know,
you had one of the greats to learn from. I mean, you know, not too many people get that experience to work with somebody like Ben, and so that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. You got to see. I mean, you got to see worlds first. You know, I got to see, you know, different avenues, I guess, of breeding than other people. Like I hear a lot of you guys, like you'll talk about buying the females, but see, I come from the aspect is you get the male, unless you don't have the females or literally just don't have females. If you have females, all you need is the male, and you can build an army. Ben taught me that for sure. Like, you know, he built like the Sunset Army. He built that from just a het.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you were telling me that story.
Yeah, it was something. So yeah, people, you know, people always, you know, that's what I'm doing with the tri-stripe stuff is building it from just hets. You know, making pos heads, keeping them all back, and eventually wait till I make a visual at some point to breed to them. You know, just to start proving stuff out.
And that's dedication right there, starting with, you know, hats and working your way all the way through.
50% hats and
yeah. And that's another that reminds me of something else too is I know some people nowadays are kind of wanting to do that same thing with the palmetto thing, you know, where you're only selling the female and you're not selling the male. But I'll see people do that, but they won't sell a visual male, but they'll sell you 100% het male. And I'm sitting there going like, I can build an army out of just 100% het male, and I guess they just don't think people will go through the hassle of doing it. But if you spend 10 grand or whatever the price is on them, you're gonna, you know, that's going to every virgin female you have. Probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. That's why there's just certain things I think are kind of goofy that don't make sense to me when I see people do stuff like that. It's like, well, if you're going to do that, just don't sell any 100% het males either. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the prices are weird too. You'll offer a visual for $40K, but then you'll sell hets for like under 10.
Yeah, I've always thought that's weird. The difference between het prices and visual prices is
clown is probably the only one that's different. You know, the clown, at least from what I've seen, you know, people sell clowns for just as much, het clowns for just as much as some visual combos, you know, so.
Right.
Compared to any, just from what I've noticed, but yeah.
So, Will, how many species are you keeping right now? I know you've got quite a.
I didn't really count them all up. I should have counted up, but like I said, I think I'm pretty close to 20. Here in the next couple weeks, I'll be adding a new species that I haven't currently worked with. So that'll be something. Yeah, I enjoy it, man. You work with all these different species, you learn different things. And another thing too is there are other people in this industry that do it for a living, but don't do ball pythons. And you learn something from them too, just as much, if not more than you do with ball pythons, you know? So like with me, my mentors in this industry were probably Ben, Sean, and then a newer one is Nick Mutton, you know, a guy that nobody knows about, but he's probably one of the smartest guys I know in this industry.
Right.
You know? just, and I feel like the community just gets, you know, you don't pay enough attention to the people that probably should get attention drawn to them. Like another one is like real geneticists. Like
Yeah.
we have real geneticists that are in this hobby that nobody knows about, that honestly probably comment on a lot of people's Facebook and Instagram posts, and they'll argue with them and tell them they're stupid. And it's like, this dude has a degree, and you're gonna tell him some shit like that? I don't know.
Dude, Will, do you remember the Bush League Breeders Club? Did you ever go on that forum back in the day?
That might have. I don't know. I kind of came up around the time the forums came up, but I never got into the forums.
Yeah, there was a guy on there, Asplendy, that was his handle on the forums, and he was a geneticist by career, and it was hilarious seeing people argue with him because it was
what's his name? What's his name? That sounds familiar. Like I've heard that.
Was he?
Was it Travis? Travis?
It might be Travis Wyman.
Wyman? Okay, because that sounds.
I can't remember if it's Wyman.
I think it is, but I swear I've heard him plug that name before on something. So I think you are right. Yeah, that's a guy. These are guys.
Dude, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. Those are people like I look up to that a lot of people just kind of brush under the rug. So yeah.
Well, here's a random question for you. The other day I saw that you were putting in 2 females with 1 male, and I had never seen that before as far as ball python breeding go. What's your take on that?
Sorry, you cut out. Are you talking about the 2 females and with the male?
Yeah, the 2 females and 1 male.
I do it. There's a few reasons. A lot of times, like I won't get a male to breed a certain female, and a trick, like I said, something you learn from like Ben. Ben would do this: is he'll get a male and find the female that he likes, and you take that female you would also like him to breed, and you throw them in there the tub with them. And it may not happen right away, but after a while, I think it has to do with follicular development. I think, if she starts building, the other female starts building. And I think that's what really makes the male, more enticed to breed with her. So that's and it's just convenient. So you're not like, because the way I pair snakes is they got like a work schedule. They work Monday through Friday and they get the weekends off. So right. It's just a pain to have to take a bunch of individuals out of individual tubs when I can put them in groups. So it just makes it a little easier.
Right.
And there's only certain species you can do this to now. If you do this to other species, they'll kill each other.
Right. Yeah.
That's another thing too. That's why I like this, because you just learn all this little bit of knowledge. I don't know. It's just fun. That's what makes it fun for me. Learn something new. So.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what it's about, right? That's one of my favorite things too with this hobby is really just attaining new knowledge, talking with people that are keeping species that maybe you've never even thought about keeping before, and then you learn something new from them. And 2, when you take your knowledge to that point where you're just trying to get as much as you can, some of the things do translate back and forth, and then you learn quickly which ones don't. And, it really just makes you a better reptile keeper all the way around.
Like, but like with ball pythons, like I learned this from Sean. I think Sean did a really good job of this, right? Where like I was looking at carpet. I think it was carpet morse at the time I was looking at, and I had it was Nick I was talking to, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with like breadline morse, like the hypos, the stonewash, and there's a few pretty neat mutations. Well, they're kind of on the cutting edge. They're still relatively new, and at least the hypo and the stonewash are. And he was talking about because they're all the having all these genes in them and wanting to keep them all back. And I kind of like, I like what Sean did. Was Sean gave other people the opportunity to work like with the puzzle. He didn't breed it to everything with a cloaca.
Right. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
There's a few people, there's a few people out there that are just, breeding stuff to literally everything, and it's rare. And it's just like, how rare can how rare is something when you got like a 2-page availability list, and that's not including your holdbacks, but, yeah, Sean just I really like the way he did that, where it's like he gives someone else the opportunity to stamp their name on a project, rather than just, I'm going to hoard all these back to increase my own chances. Like, I understand maybe doing it like, keeping one snake back, sell the others, instead of keeping the whole clutch back, stuff like that, just because, give other people opportunities to put their, because that's the name of the game is, at least with ball pythons, people want to be known for something. People, they want to be like the Justin with the clowns and pieds, or Ben with the spot nose, or Pete Cole with pieds and stuff too. Everyone wants to have their name, they want to have a name stamped on them more for a project, or at least be known for that project.
Yeah. John from JD for the Exotics.
Yeah, Exotic. Oh, that's perfect, and it's funny too, because these are people, like Justin and, John, they didn't even originate those projects yet. Those guys are the most known. Those guys probably come first to mind over Pete Cole or Dan and Cole at Sutherland, as far as those lines go. So,
Yeah. Hey, William, we had a question while you were talking about the multiple female thing that came in. And so it was asked by Jim over at Ectothermic Dungeon. So he was wondering how you track the locks at that point. Are you just like, what's your process, I guess, when you have multiple females in there?
Really, locks to me don't really mean anything. As far as like, you could have a female, a male breed the crap out of a male or out of a female. Just the male can have 10, 15 locks. It's just, all on that female. So for me, I don't ever really pay attention. I like to observe locks. Makes me sleep better at night. But really, aside from that, there's no, locks to me mean nothing essentially, unless follicles are being developed. Then, locks might mean a little bit more to me. But
yeah, that makes sense. I had a female this last season that locked, like, it had to be like that 8, 9 times, and just nothing came of it.
Dude, I got a great example, right? See, and this is what I mean by other species. I have a Woma python that I was breeding. This female swelled up huge. It looked like an ovulation, like a full-blown ovulation. I go, all right, cool. I'm going to check that down, check her in about a month or whatever. And month later, nothing. And I'm just like, what the hell? I've never had a snake. Like, shoot, some ball pythons, once they hit like they start swelling up a little bit, I can take a male out and usually they'll ovulate, a couple, but like 2 to 4 weeks later, they'll ovulate, even without having a in there. But that Woma python, the male would breed the crap out of her, and then she swelled up, looked like an ovulation, and nothing.
Right,
so
right,
these animals can be very, very weird and frustrating too. So I've been breeding this pair of Womas since, I don't even know, 2013 or 14, and she messes with me every season. Builds big follicles and nothing.
Yeah. Have you been troubleshooting it? What do you think it is? Maybe not enough cool down, or
it might be cool. I don't know. Like the room can get pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe food, because Woma's being a part of the Aspididae family. That food. Before, I fed just once a week, and I just probably fed the crap out of her, and she kind of has an odd muscle tone. You can tell. So I don't know if I wrecked her. Like, she eats and she's fine. She just kind of mushy. And especially with Aspidites, you kind of want them to be more lean. So I'm going to keep trying and, just see, maybe try a different male. I bought another pair just to increase my cheese. See, that's how my mind works. if I can't breed something, or something, a pair's not compatible or whatever, or if I really want to breed it, I will buy groups of it. Because then in my mind, it's like, all right, I'm increasing my chances of breeding these animals, So I don't know, that's the way you just buy more, and then hopefully you'll find a pair that like each other or compatible.
Right, it doesn't work out.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
All right, so I got a question for you, just kind of about the market. It's kind of two-sided. I just wanted to know, like, what's your kind of favorite project that you think is going to take off soon, or something maybe you have in the works that you would be comfortable, I guess, letting out, if you have something excited for this coming season.
I think puzzle's probably one that's really
Oh no, we lost right at the pinnacle point of when he was going to tell us.
Dude, all I heard was Puzz.
That was the
all I heard was Puzz, and that was it.
That's the holy grail he was about to let go of.
All right, well, I'll finish off what he was going to say. Well, I think puzzles, no, I'm just kidding. But honestly, I think puzzle is going to be one of the next morphs that I think is going to be up there as far as up with clowns and pieds.
Oh,
I think they're amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The thing I like about puzzles too is they have a variance.
All right.
Not every puzzle is the same. All right, Will, give it to us. Give it to us.
I apologize for this.
Yeah, you should be sorry. You should be very sorry.
But yeah,
so we lost you, Will, right when you were about to say it started with a P, but we're not sure.
Okay. But
yeah, and it ended with just these.
It was pastel, right?
Pastels.
Pastels.
Oh, yeah, pastels. Yeah. Well, hey, pastels look pretty good in puzzles, so.
Yeah, they do.
People poo-poo the pastel, but I mean, people like the pastel Desert Ghost and the super pastel puzzles, But no, yeah, we're talking about mutations or something. I don't know. I'm really excited for the puzzle stuff. I'm trying to take it different routes, because I've noticed a lot of people are trying to do it to the more mainstream stuff. The people that that the first mutations that come to mind, I guess. Like, the clowns and the, not to say I'm not going to try it, like Desert Ghosts and stuff like that. People are wanting to hammer it away to that stuff, and that's fine. I'm doing the clown stuff because I think the clown puzzle, like you start adding like super pastel clown puzzles, I think that'll be something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool, yeah.
Something else too, I think will look really well or do really well is the leopard clown puzzle stuff, because I think leopard has a very similar pattern to the puzzle. Obviously there's some obvious differences, but the way it just extends the pattern is very similar to the way the puzzle does. So I think they'll play really well with each other, just as well as the spot nose puzzle ended up doing.
Oh man, spot nose puzzle, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I tell people too, I remember I think it was Facebook, and it was it was Sean stirring stuff up too, but somebody posted something about puzzle. Then Sean being Sean, just wanted to stir stuff up with people, and said something about like clown what or something. And then you had one guy just go, he's like, what'd he say? I don't get the big deal about the puzzle stuff. It's like, I take a clown any day of the week, and I didn't comment. I'm just sitting there just going like, it's like, don't poo-poo the puzzle, because I feel as if, because I think that's another problem. There's too many followers in this industry too, because I feel as if Justin did something, I bet that same guy is going to be like, you know what? I think he's right. Puzzle is a great mutation, because I told someone, I go, I really think the spot nose puzzle was just as cool or cooler than the spot nose clown. To me, anyways, I at least equal, in my opinion. I thought it, that way it jacked up that pattern was, that was pretty neat. So
yeah, I like what it does to the head too, like the pattern.
The head was very. Yep. No, yeah, I agree that. But yeah, no, that the puzzle's like my go-to mutation. I'm putting it to a lot of double recessive stuff that, well, you guys have seen it, like the double het puzzle candy stuff. I think that's going to be cool looking, just lavender. I'm not doing lavenders, but I'm sure lavenders will be real cool. Any of the albinism traits or ultra male, all that, I think will look pretty neat in the puzzle, So I want to do a little bit of, change the color, like with the albinism traits. And then I like to mess with the pattern,
Right.
A few of those I'm keeping secret. I've told you guys, I'm pretty sure, but a lot of it I'd like to keep it secret.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff this upcoming year. As long as the females get up to size, I should make some pretty neat stuff. Hopefully, hopefully I get better sex ratios too. That kid double
head got murdered.
That double head, that double head candy puzzle clutch. I was like a 4.2. I was like, man, I was like, I mean, it's not the worst thing to have gotten, obviously, but I was like, dang, I was hoping for at least another female,
Exactly.
Great, So
yeah, I really wanted one of those GHI hats, but they were all male.
That's another one. I should hopefully this year do some pretty cool GHI stuff. Hopefully, I got the female right here that's just pounding rats.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear.
She's getting big. We'll see if she breeds this year. I don't know. We shall see. Because right now her brother's not doing anything. He did a little bit of something, but I don't know if he's his team or what. I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, time will tell.
I have very late seasons. I probably shouldn't even bother breeding till next year.
Yeah.
The ball. None of it wants to breed till like sometime fall or spring.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to that. I feel like things don't really take off here until like February.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just because I don't see breeding action going on, it doesn't bother me. It's whatever. Probably at the time, end of spring happens, and it's like if it's the same, I'm gonna be like, uh-oh.
Right.
It's not no, I ain't too worried. But yeah, another mutation I'm really looking to do pretty big things with is tri-stripe. I think people are sleeping on the tri-stripe. I think it's due to have its day at some point too.
Right.
We've seen the color mutations in it. Well, I want to see what the pattern. Well, at least some other pattern mutations do in it, because we've seen what the D stripe does, and I don't care for people. It's the same thing. As far as I'm aware, all the lines of tri-stripe are compatible.
Right. Right.
The same animal, just the babies were sold to individual people. So yeah, as far as I know, they're all the same. It's just. Rather, I think certain certain animals look better than others, but that's just me. So,
right. I haven't seen a whole lot of tri-stripe stuff.
Hopefully that'll change, man. I'm hoping to do some pretty cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
For a while there, I remember a couple of years there, Ben that's where I got my tri-stripe stuff was from Ben. And Ben was really working hard with it, and he had a bunch of hets, man. Like he had I don't know, 3-4 racks maybe of 100% het females.
Wow.
And I'm trying to think how old these females were when he bred them. These females were, he started breeding them in 14, and he didn't actually get a visual tri-stripe till last year. And for up to that point, because no one else was making tri-stripe stuff other than TSK and stuff, and I was just like, man, is this a polygenic trait? I didn't think it was a genetic, as far as a simple recessive or incomplete dominant trait. I was starting to think it was a polygenic trait like it is in carpet pythons or something, because the tiger or the tri-stripe and them too, and it's a polygenic trait. So I was starting to think that's what this was, but no, I guess people are just having bad odds or, whatever it is. Or
yeah.
No, I agree. Hey, Joel, I think it's time for your opposite-ended question. We've got where Will is like focused on and excited. I think you should ask him the the other question that, you know, stirred up a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, you're gonna get me in
About
trouble.
screwing stuff up.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know if we were going to keep asking this question. I asked this to Adam on the last one, and it's tough because you know we don't want to. It's not stepping on anybody's toes, but I just didn't know if you've seen something, not necessarily maybe a specific gene, but maybe a specific combo that I don't know, might be a little overpriced to you, or like you were saying earlier, how you know how is it rare when you have 2 pages of your page full of the combo, you know, stuff like that. I don't know if there's something that you see in the market that might be a little higher than you think it will be, or maybe be leveling off here in the near future.
I'll tell you the most.
No, I have some.
The project that kind of has been really boggling my mind really has been the scale of stuff. And the reason why is because I heard what went on at Tinley, and I heard the prices some people were asking, and then I personally saw what buddies were making, and it was like, you know, double of what other people was asking, and he was actually getting for them. And he's not a big either, and it just blew my mind. I was like, dude, it was at the same show. It wasn't like it was online or at 2 separate shows. This was at Tinley Park. People paid 2 different prices. Like literally, the guy who bought for my buddy spent twice as much as what other people were buying them for. You know, so that one, that was weird. That was really, I don't know. As far as I can remember, I don't know of a time that's ever had. The only time maybe something like that happened was like when Inchy picked up like some steam for a little while there, where you know people just suddenly want the Inchy clown. It definitely went that route. You know, as far as you know, especially with like Spot Nose, you know, people didn't want Spot Nose, and then they made the Spot Nose clown, and then boom, you know.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Big
clown, I think, you know, this is no.
I'm sorry.
This is where I think it's going to stir it up a little. But the clown, as far, you know, I work with clown. I don't work with a lot of it. And it's kind of for a particular reason.
Right.
And it's just that, man, you look at that. I mean, I know Sean and them's posted the, was it the morph market thing? You know, how many breeders there are of it. But, you know, it's just like, damn, that is a lot of people doing clown, like a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you're saying there. That I had a concern with the clown too.
But I think you know, there's another thing is it's marketing too. You know, I'm just saying some of the people who take you know crappy cell phone pictures or just throw it up there, they're gonna be in trouble. People like you guys with the YouTube and the you know the more active on Instagram, you know, bigger followings, you guys should do all right. You know, it's a lot of these other people, but you know, a lot of those other people are going to be what really might end up hurting you guys at the end, as far as, you know, they're going to get frustrated with you guys because you guys are doing really well and they're not doing so well. So there's going to be this nasty lashback. They're going to have, you know, oh, I'm going to slash the prices to half of what these guys are selling for because I don't have a name these people have. You know,
that's so true, man. Yeah. That is honestly a good point of putting it like that, dude. I've seen that already happen a few times.
Oh, really?
Damn. Yep, and that's a good way of putting it, man, because you see these people, like I said, with the active social media, you know, they'll put something up there, then the person that can't sell it would be like, well, screw that, man. I need to get rid of some of this stuff because they don't have the patience for it or the money to back themselves up. And then they'll chop the prices in half because I've had a few people hit me up, be like, hey, well, I could get it for like $500 less. And I'll be like, oh crap, you know, because I know the other person's already chopping it up. It happened to me recently, but you're totally right about that, man.
Like I said, like Justin will be safe. I'm sure you guys will be safe just because just the presence you guys have, you know, is you know, I don't know. I think you guys will be safe as far as that's concerned. But I think in the future you're gonna just have a lot of these people who invested in those clown projects realize that, man, I'm just having trouble making or you know, selling these things, and you know, and I learned this from Ben too. It goes, well, if you can't sell it, you know what I do? I'm just going to keep it all back, and then I'm just going to breed it, and you know, not like in a malicious way, but at a point the prices will come down. You know, they're going to be cheap. There's just no, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm just going to have those animals ready for when they are cheap, and I should be able to sell them. You know, like there's certain genes that like banana. I produce bananas, and they're not het for any. Well, some of them aren't het for, you know, anything, but I produce bananas just because they're pretty and they sell. You know, I know a lot of people want to focus on like 2-3 recessive traits, and that's it. Me, I kind of want to. I want to obviously focus on those, but I want some of that other, you know, like the banana money or something like that, you know, because let's face it, you know, not everyone's going to sell like Justin $3,000 or $5,000 snakes.
Yeah, yeah. The market's very
At least
small.
not as frequently or anything, you know. So that's why I do, and not to mention I like them. They're really pretty animals, you know. That's another thing too, is people do what you like, and it's, you know, it's not hard, you know. It's that I don't mind keeping the banana stuff because it's pretty, you know. It just I just enjoy opening up those tubs and looking at them, you know. Bananas is one example though. There's other traits that I have that I, you know, kind of are the same, like Orange Dream's another one that kind of fall into this. They're obviously their values more than the banana, but still kind of put them in that same category where they're just pretty animals, you know. So that's why I make them, and they don't even need to be het for anything. I just make them because, you know, I like a variety of stuff. You know, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into one thing. Like, it might seem like I have a ton of puzzle stuff, but I'm not going to just intentionally stick myself into a position where that's all I can make, you know? So
yeah,
you want to have, that's why a little diversity is good.
Diversify, dude, just like your stocks. Diversify.
You know, yeah, because I mean, you riding one wave, you know, that wave's not going to stay high forever. You know, you want to be able to dip out if you can, or, you know, move out of the way so you can, you know, try a little something different. You know, that's why I don't have like everything puzzle, or I won't get rid of all my non-hets just to replace them with hets or visuals, you know.
Right.
Not to mention, it's hard to want to get rid of some of these girls I've had for, man, like 8-10 years. It's just, you know, you have them for that long and they're that reliable of breeders for you. It's kind of like, damn, dude, you guys, I mean, they put in work. You know, they really did. It's just, they did. It's just like, what, are you going to reward them by getting rid of them? You know, you know, I understand having to make space because you can't keep it all, but it's just hard to want to get rid of some of those, you know, females compared to the males, you know. You know, some of those old females just do so much for you. It's you know, it makes it hard to want to get rid of some of them.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Okay. So last for me, serious question. It's a two-parter. So you ready for this?
All
right. So you have $3,500 right now, like with your current situation. What do you think you would do with the $3,500, snake related, not blowing it at the casino or anything like that? And then beyond that, let's say you're starting completely out. You know, how would you spend that $3,500 on more of like a, you know, business aspect, but also, you know, you obviously like this is taken in consideration. You like snakes, you know. This is just money.
And you're talking about from scratch too, right? Nothing.
Yeah, scratch. Right.
Well, I remember Adam's video. I heard what you were saying about it, and that's one route of doing it. But my thing is, I would get a puzzle male, but instead of getting a bunch of hets, because I worry about that stuff later. What I do is get mutations that, as far as you know, either haven't been produced with the puzzle or have been very little has been done, like the GHI, or, you know, I'm looking at a blackhead right now. You know, I'd get a blackhead female that I could breed to the puzzle because there's only been one guy or person I know that's made hets, you know. Another one would be even multi-gene females, you know. You know, I think I've developed a lot of this from working with Ben, you know, as far as just like, it's just diversity for me, you know, like, because like I said, I want to I would get the puzzle, but then maybe if I do get heads, it might just be one or two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make all my own heads, just like what I've done with the puzzle. Is I've made all my own heads, you know. So outside of one female I bought, aside from that, all the other ones I've made. So that's what the route I would go, you know, just get like I said, Calico would be another one. Super Stripe, you know, that's an underrated mutation. Highway or Super Gravel female. Oh, that might blow past your budget, but I don't. But you know, get just this base stuff that you know hasn't been put into the. It doesn't have to be puzzle, but say like even Tri-Stripe or Sunset and stuff like that. So, you know, that's what I would do.
Yeah, and it for more of the long game.
Yeah, I can make all the my own heads. I can make and hold back all these females. You know, like I said, like I've done, and it just. To me, and let's face it, ball pythons don't take that long to raise either, you know. I mean, you can get a ball python up to size a lot quicker than you get a lot of other species up to size, you know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I got some Timor pythons that I don't even expect breeding to for at least another 6 years, maybe. God. You know, people who have Bolins and scrub pythons, 6-8 years, you'd be waiting. You know, ball pythons, it can happen pretty quick. That's why I'm not as concerned as far as worrying about a male later. Cause you know, I ran into this problem before too, is where with carpets, when I was investing into the carpet stuff, I did what a lot of you guys would do. I bought a bunch of females. Well, I bought these females and I said, well, I'll just wait. Cause carpets take about 3 or 4 years to reach maturity. So I'll wait a year or two before I start my males. Well, I kept buying females and I kept putting off males. Now I'm in this predicament where I have breeder size females, but now all my males are too young. So now I got to wait.
Right.
I piddled around too much or just other things caught my eyes and, you know that, yeah. So focus really can help, you know, you having a strong will too. Cause some of this stuff's hard not to say, I just want this so bad.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know, and I cave in usually and end up getting something, you know, something, and I end up having to get another male for that project.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a vicious cycle, you know. So yeah,
that's the name of the game, though.
But yeah, I hope I answered that question right. I think.
No, yeah, I like that. That was good.
That was a good one.
Adam, what do you got? Do you got anything?
Well, you know, we covered a bunch, but one thing that Heather brought up last night that I, you know, may think some people find interesting. So on average, either per day or per week, however you want to answer it, Will, how long does it take you to care for your collection, you know?
It depends. And how my work schedule is. If I'm working a lot of overtime, I'm not going to lie. If I'm working a lot of overtime, because as soon as I get done at work, I'm going right to the gym for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I'm a power lifter, so I'm wearing myself out with just this heavy weight. So then when I get home, I'm fairly exhausted. And then at that point, I'm just like, all right, I'm checking stuff, see if stuff's locked or pairing stuff up, or if something's nasty, I'll clean it. But generally, if there's a few urates or, little, moisture in the front of the tub, I'll generally leave it and worry about it at the weekend, is generally what I do. And it'd take me probably all day to do it, for the most part. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what, probably 20, 25 hours a week or less, you think?
Yeah, probably 25 hours or so. I said, when I get into it, I get into it. I'll play an Audible book, I'll play a podcast, and I'm just gone. I'm on it, and I'll knock it out pretty quick. Like I said, Ben, that's another thing too. Working with Ben, I learned real efficient ways of knocking this stuff out pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, and his facility was always super clean, super well taken care of.
Yeah, I went from cleaning babies to cleaning retics. And it's like, oh God. I posted this on Facebook, Instagram. I was just like, yeah, I went from no experience with retics, berms, and anacondas to just 1 week cleaning 24 retics, a couple berms, and like 6 anacondas.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, like with Ben's supervision and guidance and stuff, but I mean, it is work.
Yeah.
It is work. And not to mention, his retics are evil. His retics were just mean. His anacondas were kind of hit and miss, but I've learned just not to trust the big snakes, because I've had some fairly close calls, and then I've gotten a couple bites from them, and it's just like, you know, I'd rather not do this. You know, as far as like not, you know, letting them crawl all over. Like, I won't ever let a retic go over my neck, like at least not intentionally or anything, or anyways. Because I've seen retics. I've seen Ben have a retic over his shoulder, like an adult female, and he didn't see this, but I saw the whole thing. That female's head's just on the back, mouth wide open, flail, and I'm just like, no. You imagine getting that in the back of your head? You just be, oh my goodness, it ruined your day. You know, so that's why I've learned just to be very leery of them. Not to say everyone's retics are like that. Just Ben had a lot of retics. They got cleaned, and that was really it. They didn't really get, you know, messed with or, you know, handled or nothing like that, you know. So yeah, I've learned a pretty efficient ways of cleaning, especially ball pythons and a lot of stuff. Like, you've done those retics. It's like everything else in the hobby is pretty easy to clean. You know, you do that just retics. It's just like, man, I could do ball python. I could do those white lips like in 5 minutes, knock out all 5 of them.
Right.
Evil, but it's just like, I'd rather deal with a little evil than a, you know, 15 or 16 foot evil. You know.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had some close calls, man. I remember an anaconda bite that almost went wrong, and it was a male. It was about 6 foot long, and it's funny because it was a captive bred one too. The wild caught ones were nicer than the captive bred ones. So, it was one of his double heads. It was about 6.5 foot long, and these things were just mean. They didn't like getting messed with. They didn't even like you looking at them for the most part without thudding their face. So, and I hated cleaning these things too, because Ben had them in a 4 foot by 2 foot by 1 foot animal plastic cage. So, I mean, literally the opening was a foot.
Yeah.
And this thing was wiry. This thing wanted to just tear your face off. I'd get it out. You get it on the hook, fall off the hook. You're trying to tail it because you don't want it to get, because it's right next to the incubator. So I don't want it, you know, destroying the incubators. So I'm tailing this green anaconda, and all of a sudden, just because they don't strike like traditional snakes do, though, they're like sand boas where they'll stay in a resting position and just, you know, jump at you. Well, this anaconda just leapt in the air and just swung its head open, like right over my legs, and just grazed my crotch. Dude, it was like instant chill right down my back. It was terrifying. I was like, wow, that could have been bad. You know, ain't nothing gets your adrenaline going quite like those big snakes can do it. Maybe a venomous, obviously venomous could, but those big snakes sure do know how to get the blood pumping. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've had them work me pretty hard. You know, all kinds of bad stories. Yeah.
All right. So quick transition, I guess, into the lightning round after the crotch bite.
Right.
All right. So we're going to do just 5 quick questions. Very similar. Matter of fact, they're the same as Adam's. Yeah, just go for it. Give us your answer, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
All right. So what's your favorite color?
Red.
Okay. We got red.
Yep.
Good choice. Jeans, buttons or zipper?
Zipper.
Okay. That's 2 now. Not impressed. I'm a button guy.
Who wears buttons? I've never.
Dude, I'm a button guy, man. I love buttons.
I don't know.
If you're going gold panning, you wear buttons for gold panning.
That's where I get it from. All my years of gold panning.
I don't wear jeans all that often. I wear a lot of gym shorts and stuff or sweats, so I don't.
Yeah.
it's just whenever I feel like dressing up, I'll put some jeans on.
Right, right. Okay. Favorite childhood movie?
Oh, dude, there's a ton of them.
You still watch them?
Yeah, no, I still do. Probably there's two of them that jumped out at me was Jurassic Park and the first Pet Cemetery.
What?
Yeah.
I was thinking like Little Mermaid or something.
No, I mean, I watched all that stuff too, but I mean, maybe because they're remaking. Well, they've remade Jurassic Park. They're remaking Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
So those are the most recent ones. They, you know, if they did Little Mermaid, you know, I'd probably think of that too. But thus far, they haven't remade it or turned it into a live action one. Lion King is another one. That's another one.
Lion King. Lion King's right. Okay, favorite thing to eat?
Oh man, Mexican food.
Oh,
it doesn't matter what. It's just any Mexican food. Like I love Mexican food. I actually make. I get made fun of because I'm part Asian, right? And I like Mexican food more than Asian food, like by a lot. Like I'm talking like I choose Mexican food any day. I could eat it all the time.
Yeah. I like Mexican food a lot too.
Yeah. Process of trying to find me a nice Mexican girl too, but it's hard to find them up here in the Midwest, you know.
Yeah, come out to California or Arizona.
Yeah.
They're out here.
Anywhere down south, they don't like it up here where it's cold.
I think Miguel might be looking. Okay, so last question. Any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, superhuman strength.
Okay, yeah, because you're a little guy, how it is, right?
Well, it's when I was growing up too. Another thing I liked is all the superhero stuff. Even to this day, I love superhero stuff. I grew up just enjoying that kind of stuff. So you know, strength all day. You know.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. How much do you bench press? Like 135 or?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Before I
I'll say
got tendonitis in my shoulder, I was doing 500. Then I got tendonitis, so now it's back down to about 475 on a good day, as long as it's not irritating. You know.
Were we talking squats or bench press?
We get in the squats. We're getting in the sevens then on a good day.
Oh my god!
Hey
that's
man,
that's legit man strength.
Just like with snakes, I have goals with lifting too. That's another passion of mine. Is like I have a goal. By the time I'm done, I'd like to be doing 1,000 pounds and one of my 2 lifts, deadlift or squat. You know, I'd like 1,000 pounds. That'd be something, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, I should probably make that.
That's all about it, having goals, having dreams, you know.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, get ready to squat a car.
Yeah, man, why not?
Yeah, I should make that cut here probably 6-7 more months.
Yeah, you're almost there, Joel.
Yeah, I'm getting close.
Miguel said he could take you, no problem. Yeah,
take you out to eat.
Yeah.
Take you out to eat. That's about it. Take you to a Mexican restaurant. Screw that, dude. My back will snap in half.
Oh man.
So when you come out to California, it's on. That's what.
Hey, Will, are you coming to California?
Yeah, I'd like to. California is the only shows I haven't been to yet, as far as shows that I want to go to. Anyways, I've yet to go to California shows.
Come to Pomona.
Pomona? Where is that? Is that?
It's out here in Cali. It's what is it? LA? No. Yeah, it's still LA County.
Yeah, it's still LA.
Is that like Northern California?
No, it's still Southern.
Okay. I definitely plan. I really want to hit up some Northern California shows. Like, was it the Sacramento? Is that North?
So I went to Sacramento show for the first time, and I will say this, man, it is the best layout for any show, hands down, that I've ever been to. The layout of that whole show is the best, and I think I've been to almost every Reptile Expo or show out there.
Yeah,
I'm in Arizona. Don't say that.
Wait, what did he say? No, but yeah, it's amazing. Sacramento show is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to go to one of them. It's the only reason I like to go to Northern California shows is because I got buddies who, you know, vend up there that I'd like to see. So that's what I'd like to, for sure. Yeah, I don't even know. I think Wyoming's probably the furthest west I've ever been as far as that goes. I've never been all that far on the West Coast. You know, I've been to Daytona quite a few times, and you know, Texas quite a few times, and obviously because it's so close to me. So
Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Good old Missouri.
Good old Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should for sure come out. So Pomona is coming up. I think it's January
5 and 6.
Is it 5 and 6?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 5th and 6th.
Well, your guys' opinion. I really don't know. I'd like to go to Northern California shows, but what's in your guys' opinion the best shows as far as out in California?
The Pomona show would be the biggest.
Pomona?
Yeah. Pomona's the biggest, and then I mean the Sacramento show is really good, but Pomona is bigger. There's more vendors. Yeah,
it's just kind of fun.
The Pomona show is definitely getting to be one of the biggest shows. The only problem, like compared to Tinley, is I would say you probably get the same amount of traffic, just the quality of animal is nowhere near close to what Tinley has. Tinley is the mecca of like high-end stuff. But the way Pomona's going, I think it has the potential to be the next big thing. We need to get other vendors, like the big vendors, to come out there and lay out some cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, you guys got a lot of what are you talking about as far as just like with Daytona, you get a lot of imports and stuff. Isn't California a pretty big import, state?
No, not even.
Not really at Pomona. I mean, we do have opportunities to import, but you don't really see a whole bunch at the shows. I mean, we get like TSK and we get other relatively big names, but we don't see anybody that does.
We get Austin from Balls and Chain.
Yeah,
he's pretty legit.
Yeah, man, hell yeah, he is definitely.
That profile's
but
sick.
So no Ozzy, for example, JKR, or this guy Miguel. He refuses to bend. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean. So we get good breeders. There are a lot of good local breeders. It's just different.
It's just such a haul going out there, man. Because I know a lot of people who might take, like I remember Ben would tell me stories about taking trips up there to Ven, but he said it's like, man, that's like for us, that's like a 24-hour straight drive with animals and stuff. It's just like,
yeah,
that's a lot.
I'm not a driver, man. I don't like staying cooped up in a little car for too long.
Dude, same here. Whoa. Yeah, same here. Sorry, I thought about something.
Got to calm Miguel down over here.
No, the wife was calling me. And I just went a little French on her. Oui. But yeah.
Well, Miguel, any specific questions for
Yes, I have a question for Will. Will, do you have any stuff like puzzle stuff that you haven't showed that you could, DM me and let me know you might be selling or something? Oh wait, that's not a question. My bad. Sorry, I was just asking you.
You're abusing the profile, okay? You're abusing it.
No, but I have this totally whack-ass friend named Jim Ellis from Godfather Exotics. Could you give that guy some tips on how to actually lift weight and not use straps on the freaking, what's it called? Assisted pull-up bar, please?
Ooh, man, you went straight for the jugular. You wasn't joking. Dude, like when you did like deadlifts and stuff, you just go in, you just grab it, and you just rip it off the floor. It's a mental thing. You just got to get past the mental stage. Once you got a strong will, you pull whatever off, I've seen my brother, for instance, lift weights, and he just ripped his thumb open, his palm open. It can get pretty nasty. So it's just a matter of just, having, the will to do it, I guess, more than anything,
No, I'm just talking crap, but he is pretty whack though.
That was shots fired, right?
Yeah, that totally was shots fired for sure.
Got to give him a thug life, just
right to the belly, dude.
That common shit.
No, I learned it from freaking John and Austin, man. That's all they do. I try to be cool with the guys, but all they do is just talk mess.
Always thanks, dude.
So, Joel, it looks like we're right about that hour mark.
Oh, man, I don't want to keep going. Why are you trying to ruin shit? Dude, straight trying to ruin it, dude.
No, I just want to make sure we didn't have any questions. From,
I just wanted to check chat, see if anybody has something to say.
Oh, Jason from Mixed Morphology's here. Let's all leave.
Let's all leave. Let's see. It looks like John Feely's talking crap. All right, we'll ignore that. We'll just.
John Feely, who's that?
Who's? Oh, dang, dude.
You don't know?
I don't. Who's John Feely? No, joking. John, love you, man.
I love you too, John. I'm trying to see who I like more though, John or Austin. They're both cool people. Profile pictures for sure. John's cooler, but I think Austin in real life is cooler.
Well, you know, what can you do?
Yeah. Oh no, we were literally just all talking smack.
Yeah, I feel like chat's just goobers.
Well then, Will, anything you got for us before?
Oh, we got a ball python collector. Tips for a beginner.
Oh, there you go.
Tips for a beginner. Let's see. Just do what you like. Just don't follow. Try not. If you follow the trends, make sure it's trends you like. If you just follow stuff to follow it, it'll wear on you. Because
well, then I don't want to interrupt you. Brian from Triple B's here, so don't say we should stop talking about him. Yeah. We don't want to say anything.
And the live chat just totally got like mad whack.
Sorry. No, I didn't. In all seriousness, continue with the question. I was just messing with Brian. Thank you for joining, Brian.
No, yeah, just do what you like to do. And because I know people who've done this personally. If you're not actually interested in ball pythons, don't just get into them to get into them. Because I know people would get into them just because they feel like that's where the trend is. If you're really not interested in ball pythons, don't go chasing it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, dude. I like that advice quite a bit because a lot of people just jump on the trend and then they get burned out.
Yeah, do what you like to do. Like I said, I like a bunch of different stuff, so that's why I keep a bunch of different stuff. And and not to mention, it's just like I don't, it's kind of like a security blanket, I guess, in a way, where you're not just relying on one thing. You have multiple sources of income, I guess you can say.
Right.
You got that monopoly money, I guess.
Yeah, monopoly money. Diversify.
You just. I know I say that a lot. It's like I don't mean to make it sound like I'm just preaching it or anything, but it's something within the last few years have really been hitting me pretty hard. As far as I tell people like this, I go, ball pythons are my Frankenstein animals. I keep them because you like all the mutations. I don't need mutations in any of this other species and stuff like that. I consider everything else outside of ball pythons are my zoo sector.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I got into it because I wanted to either work at a zoo or have a zoo. And that's what a lot of these miscellaneous things represent, is like that zoo segment,
Yeah, there you go. I like that a lot. You wanted a zoo, so you built one.
Yeah.
And we had another question pop in. What's your feelings on hybrids? Kind of like the angry.
Oh God, it hurts my soul. Oh my goodness gracious, it makes me cry. Funny that somebody said that too. Okay, here we go. Now you're gonna get me on a rant. Okay, I got on Facebook. Yeah, it was yesterday, right after I got done talking to you guys, right? And I get on Facebook. The first picture I see on Facebook is someone breeding a children's python to a blood python. I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you people? You telling me with all these little blood morphs, you couldn't have put anything else with it? I'm just like, what the hell? Same thing with oh man, you're gonna get me going. Like Angolan pythons. I see people making all these angry balls, and it's just like the problem with stuff like this is the same people who make those and sell them, the people who get those animals probably aren't going to breed them back to a Angolan ball python hybrid. What is it? Angry ball? They're not going to breed it back to another angry ball. They're going to breed it to more than likely a ball python because they're going to want to get a mutation in it. And they're going to breed it into a ball python. Next thing you know, I'm going to have Angolan in my ball python. When those animals diverged millions of years ago. So it frustrates me because it's like, in 20 years and all these animals are mixed up, we're going to have this just modge of just mutts, and someone's going to want a carpet python or a ball python, and it'll end up being a blood Angolan cross, and it's just like, and it's just sad to just think of it like that. It's just, and that's why I say I have my zoo segment and my Frankenstein segment with the ball pythons, it just, and I don't like intermingling them, and it's not to say I don't have crosses. I have 2, as far as I can think of off the top of my head. I got my original carpet python here. She's just an old mutt. She's just she's just an old mutt that I've had. She was the first snake I bred, so I just keep her, just to keep her.
Right.
And then I do have a purple golden child. That's obviously a cross, but aside from that, it's just I try to keep stuff on the straight and narrow because, at the end of the day, you're thinking of it in short terms. How are you going to, but you need to really be like, how is this going to affect the future of the hobby? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's why I get not frustrated, because I don't care. People will do what people want to do, but like people will message me on my, my Instagram thing, and they'll be like, I'll post a picture of my Timor and they go, man, that would look great with my carpet python. I go, no, that's the exact opposite of what I want to do with that snake. Here, I'm going to show you guys something.
All right, yeah, let's see it. Let's get a snake out.
Pull a snake out. She's probably going to pee on me. But I don't know. It's probably the crappy lighting. Does this look like it needs a morph? It's a Timor python. You don't get much prettier. And that's kind of another thing too. Is like, say with a lot of these species, like these guys are in the, the same family with retics. They're was it Malo python timorensis, I believe, and then the the Malo reticulatus or whatever. And it's just like, why don't you keep a Timor python?
Right.
They are very similar. They feel and look a lot like a retic. And it's just, and I'm not dogging retic morphs. I work with retic morphs, but to be honest, this is a really pretty snake. It's hard to beat a Timor python,
Right.
Yeah, but she's leaking on me. That's the one drawback, is these guys are known to just pee and poop on you. They're not biters. They just like to pee and poop. Oh, yep. Here she goes. Yeah, that's the only drawback, is they poop.
Did she just pee on you?
Yeah, and she pooped on me a little bit. Yeah.
Well, that completes the stream.
Yeah, now my hands are all wet with urates and stuff.
It wouldn't be a live stream without somebody getting peed on, so appreciate that.
Here's another one I'll take out for you guys that I think are pretty underrated species. It's Maclot python.
Oh, those are cool, man.
Liasis maclati, These are really cool little species of python, If you do carpet pythons, boas, there's almost no reason why you shouldn't try these guys. These guys are, really unique, and it's just, it'd be a shame to lose the species because nobody cared,
Right.
And it's just, and it's like I said, I tell people diversify is always a good thing. It never hurts to have something else, just because, and even the people that are crazy morph obsessed, because let's face it, that's a big segment of our hobby is morphs, and there are people that are just crazy morph obsessed. I even tell them, I go, you know what? It's like, if you got a species like this, it's always a good idea to have, because you just never know these days what could pop up. I don't know if you guys ever seen the T positive white lips. Those are pretty stunning looking animals. And I go, you're kind of, if you just say that animal really struck your fancy for it being a morph, and you're like with the blackheads, Blackheads are a great example. You know, with the hypos, the Xantics, and the albinos that have came out, people are all like, oh man, these all, you know, blackheads are really cool now. I thought they were cool before. And it's just, you know, if you want to jump into that species, don't expect to be breeding those animals for probably, you know, 5 years, you know. So
right.
You know, and if you're looking at it in a profit, you know, standpoint, it's just like, well, there's other people out there that already have established breeding animals. So all they need is a male, and males in general, in most species, don't take that long to get up to size and breeding age. So,
yep.
And you already have the females. You can make heads, you know. So that's kind of like what I mean when I, even with morph obsessed people that just are so morph driven. I think just having a single like a 2 tubs with something different.
Mm-hmm.
And the knowledge you learn too is just something else. You know, you learn different species, and you know, it's very rewarding. I think you're not just pigeonholed into one thing. So
yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That was some good advice.
So yeah, it's just something I've really in the last few years, because I've always had a pretty diverse collection, but in the last few years, like, it just, you know, I would like to see it, you know, because when I talk snakes with other people, it's sad that some people don't even know what a maclot python is, or a water python, or a, you know, like a Dunn's python. No one even knows what a Dunn's python is.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's, and, you know, it's like, and something too, and I know ego is a big thing in this industry, you know, so you can breed a ball python all you want, but in all honesty, you're not really putting your name in any kind of significant, like, in the herp of the culture. Like, for instance, I got to give a shout out to Oklahoma City Zoo. They just posted this today. They were the first people to ever breed Halmahera pythons.
Yeah, that's really cool.
No one's bred them in captivity. No one's bred them in the zoos, private sector. They were the first ones to breed in captivity. So that's a big accomplishment. That will put you up there, you know, as far as, like, you know, you want the zoo sector to know who you are. You know, you want to get just herp the culture in general to know who you are. You breed something like that, you know, people start paying attention to you. And it's not like I'm saying that's what you need to do or anything, but I'm just saying, like, people with egos, you know, because I know this hobby has a lot of people with egos, you know. You know, people that just, you know, too big for their own britches type of deal. So it's just something to think about, you know. Just anything. I don't mean to come off like I'm being snarky or being an asshole or anything like that. No. Wrestling, by the way.
No, you are. Yeah, we all know you are. It's fine.
Yeah, at least you're honest.
Yeah. But no, I just, you know.
Yeah.
No, guys, you know.
Well, it's been just over an hour. I think we'll go ahead and wrap everything up and come to a close here. Okay. Just thanks so much for coming here. I have everybody's links in the description down below, besides Miguel's.
Yeah, don't put mine. I was a total accident today, dude.
He's the biggest guy on YouTube right now. Everyone knows who he is. He doesn't. You know,
yeah, exactly. I'm not talking about him. So yeah, thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it. I think it was a great talk. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. You know.
Yeah, it's been awesome, Will.
Yeah, Will, hit me up with that side text, you know, and that stuff that you have. Later, brother.
You're talking about holdback stuff now.
Yeah. All right, man. Big shout out to Austin's profile picture, man. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, we'll see everybody later. I'm gonna wrap it up.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
All right,
appreciate everybody joining. See ya.
Yep.